My name's Phil Price. I was born in Crookwell and left school when I was 16 to come home and start running the farm here with my father. Dad started running the property in about 1938, I think it was, and his father before him and his father before him. So yeah, we've been here for quite a while, and I'm the fourth generation on this property.
Yeah, so I've grown up on Melroy for the past 27 years. I had a short stint away while I went to university and worked in Canberra for a little while. But those younger years growing up on the farm really instilled in me a passion for agriculture and respect for the land.
Yeah, look, you couldn't hand the baton on to somebody more worthy, I don't think, than Sam. He's been out here planting trees since he was about 9, so he's grown up with it, and it's natural to him, whereas we had to make that adaptation from clearing trees and burning timber to planting them.
So Melroy's 250 acres. Main soil types predominantly a quartz loam. It does run in the basalt on the caps, but majority of the country is quartz loam. Subdivided by a small creek that runs through the property. It's a freshwater creek. It dries up during severe drought, but usually runs constantly all year round. The main pasture species are ryegrass, phalaris, cocksfoot. There's a fair bit of native stuff out towards the back, which consists of thermida and some stiper coming back now. A lot of microlena as well mixed in there as well, and then our clover species are usually just your subterranean clovers and your more native things like barrel medic and those sort of leguminous pastures.
It's a prime lamb enterprise, predominantly. We do grow lucerne to make into fodder for supplementary feeding during the winter, but predominantly fat lamb or prime lamb.
One of the biggest things, I suppose, is growing up around here and owning a little bit of land here. You see property prices grow so rapidly, and it just makes it really hard for young blokes to get back into the sort of grazing situation. And I suppose that's why I've looked at subdividing paddocks and trying to boost productivity on this piece of land rather than going and buying more land.
The smaller your paddocks, the more stock you'll run, simply because of that resting period. He's fencing it up into aspects, like his northerly aspect paddocks, his southerly aspect paddocks, his riparian zone down here. He's got a little cultivation paddock down here that he'll probably end up sowing to lucerne or whatever it might be, and it just makes sense. Smaller paddocks, more stock, bigger income. Yeah.
That's a bit longer, isn't it? Yeah. So looking at that pasture there, you can see just there's a lot more pasture there, but also there's clover. So digestibility of that pasture is much greater. You can see it's a lot denser, and there's a lot more of it there. So that's why the sheep have been brought into this paddock, just to give them that extra kick before they start lambing, just get their milk production up. And yeah, you can see there's a lot of clover coming through underneath that now. There may even be more there, but yeah, look, ProGraze is a fantastic course. It's benefited myself and a lot of other landholders by allowing us to look at pastures and see how different species react and interact together. I think it's very important to look at that on a larger scale and get an idea as to the quality in pasture, not only what we see and it's green and it looks good. It's important to look into a pasture, look at the species that are present, and determine how they're going to interact together and how your livestock will react to utilising those pastures. So attending these courses has really made me think about land management but how I can apply it on my own farm. It's made me come home and look at certain areas and think, how can I improve that? A number of years ago, there was an algal bloom in the creek and the dams that run the farm. Having done these courses has allowed me to look at that and see there is an issue there, how can we address it? That's then led to the fencing of those riparian areas, allowing native species to regenerate in those areas to act as a filter system for those rivers and creeks and streams. That then has impacted on the water quality in the catchment already. We're seeing a lot less algal blooms throughout those dams during rain events, and so we've done more of that work over the last 5 years by fencing out more of that riparian area, again increasing the native vegetation that's there and moving forward with that.
This was all just raw, broken away banks with no vegetation in here whatsoever. But as soon as we planted these native species here, excluded stock, it's all, as you can see now, all revegetated. The trees were grown from seed that were collected locally from the local area, so they were species that we knew would grow here, and they've done very well. Oh, yeah, it has. It's a vast improvement. As far as tree planting and things like that go, yeah, get into it. You don't have to wait a lifetime for it. People told me I was too old to do it and I'd never see the benefit of it. Look, you only got to wait 10 years. If we didn't change, we'd be running about half the amount of stock that we are at the moment. Yeah, you just can't meet the demands of a reasonable sort of income unless you do change. Yeah. I don't think you're ever too old to change, and I've had to change a bit because of some of Sam's ideas, and you know, that's all part of it. Anybody that thinks they're too old to change, well, they probably shouldn't be farming. Yeah. Take this paddock, this down here.
Yeah.
Get rid of that. Yeah. So there's plenty more to do.
Take that.
Yeah.
Oh, missed a piece here.
Oh yeah.
That's got it coming out.
Oh yeah, well that's going to be.
Fence up across here.
Yeah, another one across.
Across. Oh, it's fence across down here.